Amaryllis Court in Wildemar looks like lots of other suburban housing tracts. It features a cul-de-sac, well-kept yards, and spacious homes. But 4 of these homes have been abandoned by their owners, causing personal and financial hardships. But the families who left say staying would have been worse. They say that something in their houses made their families sick. They described an array of illnesses: headaches, rashes, flus, aggravated asthma, digestive problems, even pneumonia. Jennifer Mooney's, an elementary school teacher, left her 3,000 square foot house in January. She and her husband Javier bought the house new for $500,000 in 2006. The couple and their 4 children are now crowded into a 2-bedroom apartment in Murrieta with less than a third of the space.
My husband and I started to notice my oldest daughter having medical issues in 2008. And at that time we weren't sure what was causing the medical issues, but she was suffering from some gastrointestinal health issues and suffering from headaches. My 3rd child, Javier, he was 3 at the time, and he had an appendectomy, and it was emergency surgery. Javier was born, our first child that was born in the home, and he was born prematurely, and from the time that he was born he suffered from lung issues. He would get colds very easily, very sickly, had ear infections. My husband developed a lump underneath his chin in this area, and we noticed it began to swell and get very large in October of 2011. He went to the doctor. He had a CAT scan, MRI, blood workup, couldn't figure out what it was. They said just to leave it alone, that they didn't want, it wasn't cancerous, they didn't want to operate on it. It began to obstruct his swallowing, and he was lopsided. And eventually, when we moved out of the home, I believe it was March of 2012, it started slowly getting smaller and smaller, and it eventually went away, and he no longer has it.
Thomas Cicerelli is a career Marine Master Sergeant based at Camp Pendleton. He and his infant daughter, Kaylee, left their home on Amaryllis Court in August after his wife, Fatima, suddenly became ill. She died at a local hospital the same day she was admitted. Her diagnosis included pneumonia. Cicerelli said he didn't want to risk the baby's health by staying. A coroner's report on his wife's death is pending.
It's like everything's been taken from me. But then again, you gotta look at, I didn't even know if I could have a baby. And look what she gave me, a beautiful baby girl. And then with her death, she got our families together. There's a lot of positive that came out of it, but it hurts.
So your point is that other neighbors were complaining about toxicity before, while your wife was still alive?
Yeah. And they went to the city council, but nobody wants to take if somebody starts investigating, if somebody finds something, or they're trying to, it seems like they're responsible. So if they start drilling around, or they get somebody to check the areas or whatever, they're responsible. But they can go out and buy street lights. If you go down here, they bought like 3 brand new street lights. I wonder how much those cost. Why did they do it? To save lives. Why can't they test our soil?
Yeah, okay.
Why can't they get people out there, There's people that know that their houses are toxic and they feel the same, but they don't have nowhere to go right now, so they're stuck in their houses. Luckily, I've had people to live with, but right now, I have nowhere to go.
Tests on air in several Amaryllis Court homes and on vapors extracted from soil were commissioned by an attorney representing some of the residents. The results showed readings of benzene and other chemicals higher than levels the state deems safe for residences. But officials with the State Department of Toxic Substances Control reviewed the data and said levels were not high enough to indicate a serious chemical contamination problem at the homes. And some people who live on the streets say they have never been sick and don't plan to leave their homes.
And so we're looking for the source. We're looking at the data that comes in and saying, is there a pathway that indicates that there's a problem in the soil or the groundwater beneath these homes? We could not, the numbers did not indicate, nor did our file searches indicate that there was a use on that property that could have created a health problem for that community. So basically, we're not saying that there isn't something there in those homes. What we're saying is these homes are not on top of contaminated. Based on the sampling data that we saw, these homes are not on top of a contaminated property. There may be other problems with those homes, and somebody with the expertise, with a different expertise than ours, should look at it. Perhaps the numbers do indicate that there's something in the house, and it could be anything from the chemicals that are used in the building materials that are in the house. Perhaps there's chemicals that are used in some of the houses, that are chemicals we all have underneath our kitchen sink, or perhaps there's a mold or something in the walls. We don't have that expertise.
The state has referred the matter to the Riverside County Health Department for investigation. Meanwhile, residents' questions remain unanswered. For reporter David Danelski, this is Angel Ortiz for the Press Enterprise and PE.com.